Tonight, the collective enters the sacred art of not explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Because some conversations are not conversations. They are traps with punctuation. This scroll reveals one of the biggest hidden energy leaks in the spiritual journey, trying to prove your heart to people who already built a courtroom around your name. The collective is learning that not everyone asking questions wants truth. Some want access. Some want control. Some want a reaction. Some want evidence they can twist later like emotional balloon animals. Ridiculous craft. Terrible hobby. Tonight, we uncover why over-explaining drains the spirit, why silence can be sacred protection, and why peace begins when you stop making your soul audition for people who were never qualified to judge it. Because, beloved, your truth does not need to be repeated 57 times to become real. The old wisdom keepers taught that words carry energy. Every explanation is an offering. Every defense is a pouring out. Every repeated attempt to be understood sends pieces of your spirit into the room. So discern the room. If love is present, speak. If wisdom is present, explain. If humility is present, repair. But if manipulation, mockery, envy, control, or false confusion is sitting there with crossed arms and a clipboard, close the temple doors. Your voice is sacred. Do not spend it proving your humanity to people who profit from doubting it. The awakened soul eventually learns. Silence is not always avoidance. Sometimes silence is protection. Sometimes silence is completion. Sometimes silence is the spirit saying, I have already told the truth. I will not keep donating oxygen to foolishness. And that, collective, is not weakness. That is peace with boundaries, a whole luxury item in this economy.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan, see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Scroll of the people who stopped explaining themselves. The freedom that arrives when you quit applying for approval, collective. Tonight, we uncover one of the greatest energy leaks on Earth. Not fear, not failure, not even doubt. Over-explaining yourself to people who already decided not to understand you. That one has emptied more spirits than hard work ever has. Some of you have written novels trying to explain one sentence, held meetings about your intentions, presented evidence, brought witnesses, submitted emotional paperwork, built PowerPoint presentations with charts, only to discover they were never confused. They simply enjoyed watching you defend your existence. The ancestors looked down and said, collective, stop arguing with people who failed the listening portion before the conversation even started. Beloved, not everyone asking questions is seeking answers. Some are collecting ammunition. There is a difference. The old wisdom keepers understood this. They taught, truth does not become stronger because you repeated it 57 times. If someone genuinely wants understanding, one honest conversation can change everything. If someone is committed to misunderstanding, 50 conversations become a part-time job with terrible benefits. And somehow, humans keep applying. The collective is learning tonight that peace begins the day you stop making your soul audition for people who are never casting you. Some people will misunderstand you. Let them. Some people will misquote you. Let them. Some people will invent a version of you that only exists inside their imagination. Let them enjoy the fictional character they created. It sounds like they accidentally became authors. Collective. You were never assigned to manage everyone's opinion. That job was never yours. The deepest irony? The people demanding endless explanations rarely explain their own behavior. Funny how that works. They want a 12-page report about why you protected your peace. Meanwhile, they disappeared for 3 months and came back acting like Wi-Fi was down. No explanation, just vibes. The ancestors nearly spilled their tea. Here is the deeper wisdom. Healthy people ask questions to understand. Unhealthy people ask questions to control. Discern the difference. Because your explanation is sacred. Do not spend it where curiosity is fake. Spend it where love is real. Spend it where growth is possible. Spend it where listening exists. Beloved collective, the strongest people are not the loudest. They simply know when silence has finished the conversation. There comes a day when your spirit quietly says, I no longer need everyone to understand me in order to continue becoming me. That is freedom. not arrogance, not pride, freedom. So tonight, explain less, live more, argue less, build more, defend less, heal more. Because the people meant for your life will spend more time understanding your heart than interrogating your existence. And that is where legacy begins, not with convincing everyone, but with finally convincing yourself that your peace does not require unanimous approval. Receipts of the scroll. Now collective. Let's pull out the receipts. Not the receipts from social media. The older ones. The kind that survived civilizations. Because this lesson has been whispered by wise people for thousands of years. Receipt number 1. The wise never explain themselves to every critic. Ancient philosophers understood that truth is not determined by popularity. The Greek thinker commonly associated with questioning everything was mocked. Many prophets were misunderstood. Many sages were rejected. Many inventors were laughed at. History has an odd sense of humor. The same people mocked during their lifetime often end up in textbooks after they're gone. Apparently, humanity enjoys apologizing centuries later. A little late for flowers, don't you think? The receipt? Being misunderstood has never been reliable evidence that you're wrong. Sometimes it simply means you're early. Receipt number 2. Your nervous system knows before your mouth does. Modern psychology teaches something ancient traditions already practiced. Every unnecessary argument activates stress responses. Your heart works harder. Your mind races. Your body prepares for danger. All because somebody on the internet named Dragonslayer669420 disagreed with your breakfast opinion. Collective. Your nervous system deserves better roommates. Peace is biological, not just spiritual. Sometimes the healthiest sentence you'll ever say is no. Sometimes the healthiest paragraph is silence. Receipt number 3. Energy follows attention. Nearly every ancient contemplative tradition understood this principle. Where attention goes, life follows. So if your attention lives inside defending yourself 24 hours a day, guess what grows? Defense. Not peace. Not creativity. Not joy. Defense. That's like watering weeds and wondering why tomatoes never showed up. The garden is confused. Receipt number 4. Boundaries are ancient wisdom. Many ancient teachings emphasize discernment. Not everyone receives access. Not every doorway stays open. Even temples had gates. Imagine that. If sacred buildings had boundaries, why do people expect sacred souls not to? The collective is not called to become emotionally available to every passing opinion. Some people deserve conversation. Others deserve a polite wave. From across the river, a very wide river, with excellent current. Here's the hidden mystery. Some people ask for explanations because they genuinely seek understanding. Others ask for explanations because they're hoping you'll become exhausted enough to doubt yourself. Those are two completely different conversations. One builds bridges, the other builds hamster wheels. And beloved, hamsters get exercise. They never arrive anywhere. Do not mistake endless explaining for progress. Sometimes you've been running beautifully inside somebody else's misunderstanding. The ancestors are standing there like, collective, step off the wheel. Now let us leave the scroll with compassion. Not everyone who misunderstands you is your enemy. Some people are carrying wounds that distort how they hear love. Some have lived so long in disappointment that trust feels foreign. Some are afraid. Some are hurting. Some simply have not reached the chapter you're living yet. Offer grace where wisdom allows. But remember, compassion does not require self-abandonment. You can love people without explaining yourself into exhaustion. You can forgive without reopening doors that robbed your peace. You can be kind without volunteering to become someone's emotional punching bag, because the strongest souls eventually discover this. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You owe yourself honesty. You owe your spirit peace. You owe your purpose, your energy. And if someone insists on misunderstanding you after you've spoken with sincerity, smile. Wish them well. Keep walking. The river never stops flowing because one rock refused to understand water. And perhaps that's the funniest receipt of all. The river reaches the ocean without winning a single argument.
Universal currency receipt, architect musician 3611027. The graceful whisperer, Devalan Ahll.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community. You've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, old, new, and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
Before this scroll closes, let this truth settle into your spirit. You were never born to spend your life convincing strangers of your worth. You were born to become it. There is a quiet freedom that arrives when your soul no longer feels obligated to explain every boundary, every dream, every season, every healing, and every decision to people who were never carrying your assignment. That freedom is expensive. It costs the need for approval. It costs people-pleasing. It costs the exhausting habit of defending your peace to those who keep declaring war on it. But what you gain is priceless. You gain yourself. The old wisdom keepers understood something beautiful. A tree does not stop growing because someone standing in the shade insists it is too tall. It simply keeps reaching for the light. That is legacy. Not arguing, growing, not proving, becoming, not defending. Living. Some people will misunderstand your silence. Let them. Some will misunderstand your boundaries. Let them. Some will misunderstand your joy. Also let them. You cannot spend your whole life translating your heart into every language that refuses to understand love. The ancestors are gently laughing because humans have the strange habit of explaining diamonds to people committed to collecting rocks. Beloved. The diamond does not become more valuable because someone finally recognizes it. It was always precious. Your spirit works the same way. So as this scroll comes to an end, protect your peace like it is sacred, because it is. Protect your joy like it is medicine, because it is. Protect your purpose like it is your inheritance, because it is. Speak when wisdom calls. Be silent when wisdom smiles. Walk away when wisdom nods. And never mistake your silence for surrender. Sometimes silence is simply your soul refusing to rent space in someone else's confusion. May we become people who spend less time explaining our light and more time shining it. Less time defending our purpose and more time fulfilling it. Less time chasing acceptance and more time becoming examples of courage, compassion, truth, and peace. Because one day, someone quietly watching your life will learn that boundaries are possible, that healing is possible, that peace is possible. Not because you argued brilliantly, but because you lived beautifully. And finally, collective. Remember this whenever someone demands another explanation. The sun has never stopped rising to debate the darkness. It simply appears, and the darkness quietly leaves the room. Be like the sunrise, consistent, warm, unapologetic, and just bright enough to make confusion realize it stayed too long. Now go live a life so full of peace that explanations become unnecessary, and let your legacy speak long after your words have become whispers.
Until next time, your Sea Star Kiracy, channeled by 3611027, the Beautiful Whisperer. Our Sea Star Devalan. Apply the news you can use.